said Elijah Harris agreed to the fight and all this stuff. And come to find out, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago? His camp pulled him out. He got a new opponent. Isn't that crazy?
The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. You had a pretty incredible 2022, man. Let's just review over that and what you've been through. You made your debut and got a 13-second win. Like, just take us through debuting. You know what I mean? I know the nerves are there and everything, and then just going in there and only fighting for 13 seconds and getting the win.
Yeah, that was actually pretty weird. So, worked real hard leading up to it and everything, and put a lot into it, and then went out and I literally like shot on the guy, had him up in the air, and on video it looks like he's tapping before he hit the ground.
Wow.
So I don't know if he was just done as soon as I touched him. Basically, I don't know. I took him down, and then I trapped the near arm, pinned down the far arm, and started to punch. And then he's like tapping on my back real quick. On video, it looked like he was tapping before we even hit the ground. So I don't know what that was all about. It was actually kind of a bummer. Obviously, it's nice to win real quick, but I wanted to do a little more out there, you know.
So
It was a little,
very underwhelming then for you, because you probably
yeah,
expected a war, most likely.
yeah, underwhelming. Yeah, I would use that word. Yeah, yeah. Surprising.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the crowd was surprised.
I think everybody was a little at the whole thing. It was almost disappointing. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing, underwhelming, but also nice to win.
Oh, of course.
Nice to win, nice for the hard work to pay off. But the guy didn't really show up, kind of, so that part was a little disappointing.
Did you get to chat with him after the fight?
Yeah, he said something with his hip, going on with his hip. So I don't know how that could be though. It was so early on. There was nothing really happened yet. I mean, it was I shot a kind of a blast double on him. I guess it might have hurt his hip. I don't know.
Well,
not sure.
some dudes are not made for it, man. You
Yeah.
find out real quick in that cage, right?
Right. Yeah. Definitely. You can't hide. You can't hide in there.
No.
It's out there for the world to see. So.
Yeah. Oh well, you returned 2 months later, and then you got some cage time in. Second round finish in that one. Take us through that. How was it? Actually getting to see your corner and talking to them between rounds.
That was a more game opponent, definitely a little tougher dude. He showed up. He came to fight. He put up a fight. And yeah, seeing the corner in between rounds, it made it a little more real. Like this is a fight. I'm in a fight here. This guy showed up. So that was cool. That was better. And then winning that felt good. It wasn't underwhelming. And then what was nice about that one too was I got to see what I needed to improve on. So I got to see I need to make some adjustments and improve some things, and it's ever evolving. You never stop getting better, and I'm still so early on in this that it's nice to be able to learn from things and use it to improve. And you can always see something that could be better. So having a little more time in there gave me the opportunity to kind of, and my coaches, to dissect my game a little bit and see what needs the most work. And we've been doing that. for the past year now, and really trying to become more well rounded and be a complete fighter. Uh, be able to stand as well as grapple, and not just like a one trick pony. Have to get a takedown, you know. Um, so been putting a lot of work in, been putting a lot of time in, and I can't wait to show all the hard work that I've been putting in, and how much more complete of a fighter I am right now than my last three fights. Uh, I'm excited to get in there again.
After that fight, what did you decide to alter in your training or in your schedule or whatnot?
Um, big thing on the ground was passing the guard. So working on a lot more guard passes, and not staying in the guy's guard and trying to strike from there, but passing, trying to get better position, instead of just trying to finish from wherever I was at. If it wasn't the best position, kind of like position before submission type thing, position before striking type thing. Uh, Improving position, uh, getting to at least half guard or side control, and then getting to work there, uh, where I can land a lot more effective strikes than when you're just trapped in a guy's guard and he's squeezing you with his legs and holding on for dear life. You can't really. It's hard to posture up there and land like really effective strikes. So, um, big thing that's been helping me out was, uh, I think, uh, moving to training lab with Mark Munoz, and I still train with my Muay Thai coach Zach and my Jiu Jitsu coach Helio. But going there 2 days a week now, with Mark Munoz at the training lab, and really fine tuning my grappling and tying everything together. So I'm working on my takedown entries. So I'm striking into the takedowns more, um, and I'm not just striking or not just wrestling, not just doing jujitsu. I'm putting it all together. It's kind of like the nuts and bolts, bringing it all together. So I have the Muay Thai guy, I have the Jiu Jitsu guy. Those have been my main guys. Those have been my coaches since I decided I wanted to start doing this. Um, and they've been with me every step of the way, and super helpful. And those are my guys. But adding Munoz has been big with being able to control a little better on the ground and, uh, pass more effectively. Um, be able to tie the arms up so you can strike and finish fights with two or three accurate, effective strikes, rather than a bunch of little ones, and not really doing any damage. I'm ready to do some damage, in my next fight, whenever it is. Looking to really show my big improvements that I've made.
Well, there's not many better than Mark Munoz, man. He's one of the gems of MMA, man, especially with what you want to improve upon.
Right, definitely. Yeah, yeah. He's awesome. He's just a great guy too. Uh, Aside from, you know, being one of the best coaches that there is. Um, he's also just like super humble and just a really good guy. And I'm happy that I'm happy to be over there with him. have an MMA coach in addition to my Muay Thai and my Jiu Jitsu coach. Mark's like a true MMA coach. And with what my main focus is, the grappling, um, really helping tie everything in. So it's a grappling emphasis, but it's MMA. It's not just striking, not just wrestling. It's MMA, and he's helping me become a more complete fighter for sure.
Yeah, it's a great addition. You do have to have, especially nowadays with the game advancing so fast, an MMA coach. You know what I mean? Striking coaches are great, grappling coaches are great, but you need that person that could put it all together. It's basically like a head coach on a football team.
Right, definitely, definitely. Like having kind of, yeah, a head coach. So, I have my striking coach Zach. I have my jujitsu where I've been training Checkmat Temecula with Helio Bartham and Larissa, and they've been great, and they've basically taught me jujitsu. And like for me, the biggest thing was always like what not to do. Like you get on the ground, you take somebody down, and then you end up getting submitted. It's like, well, how do I avoid that? And like the biggest thing, like my jiu-jitsu coaches, like helping me. Like we went to the ADCC trials, the West Coast trials last year, um, and I beat a couple really high level black belts. It was my first jiu-jitsu tournament, and I was like a new blue belt, and I'm like beating these really high level black belts, and it's a tribute to Helio and Larissa over at Checkmat. And then the striking with Zach, uh, I mean, I wasn't comfortable standing for a minute or two, much less a whole round. And now I'm confident standing a whole round. I don't have to take down immediately and finish it right away, or I'm screwed. It's like now Mark, it's really tied everything together. So uh, it's it's like a well-oiled machine now and running smooth. Uh, I'm liking how everything's going, how everything's feeling.
When you went to ADCCs, man, they were probably like, "Who the hell is this guy?" You know what I mean? Like you just came out of nowhere. Probably they probably didn't even know who you were. You're just beating black belts.
Yeah, I'm nobody. I think I was a pretty new blue belt a month or two at blue. I was a blue belt, and I'd never competed in jiu-jitsu. Um, and everything is really to help my MMA. The reason I was even like doing jiu-jitsu is to improve my MMA. Um, but I ended up like seeing success with it, and just having fun competing too, and it kind of gets you back into competing. I did another jiu-jitsu tournament. I would do like uh, a jiu-jitsu tournament, a fight, a jiu-jitsu tournament, a fight, kind of just staying active until I broke my hand. I broke my hand in my last fight uh, for the belt. I fought for the Gladiator Challenge heavyweight belt. Broke my hand in it. I felt it happen, uh, but I didn't know what it was. It was just like a funny feeling. And then after the fight, it was like, oh yeah, the hand's broken, like for sure. You almost don't feel it though. You, you know something's wrong with it, but you keep going. Um, but that slowed me down a bit. I had to take some time and heal, and then some other things, and um, you know, but uh, back to back to training again, full on, and I train clients half the day, and then I'm training half the day. So it's I like where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
I like how I.
it's not a bad deal.
No, not too bad at all.
No, especially for someone that is starting their MMA career right now. You know what I mean? There's guys that, man, they're in some bad situations with like their training. You know, they're like working all day and then they go at night for like an hour and then they got to wake up the next morning early to go to work.
Right.
You know, probably at a job that they don't like. Man, why did you start? Why did you start fighting, man? Like you're not the youngest guy. You know, right now you got guys in the UFC that are teenagers, which is
I'm
crazy.
not a little kid. Yeah, I'm about to be 34 in May. So actually, it was interesting with that is Jared Vandera. He was UFC heavyweight. He hit me up. Actually, his wife cut my hair one day back when I had hair a few years ago, uh, and she asked me about my ear, and then we got to talking about like wrestling and MMA, and she told me her my dog's coming to say hi. Uh, and then she told me her husband was an MMA fighter and he needed a wrestling coach. And I was like, I could help out with that. I at the time had a wrestling club going, in addition to personal training, and so then he ends up hitting me up for personal training and for wrestling help, coming to wrestling practice and stuff. And then we just became friends, and he asked me to corner him in his UFC debut, and I did, and I cornered him for I think it was like 5 or 6 of his UFC fights. Helped him with camp and stuff, and that's where I met like Zach, my Muay Thai coach, and Helio, my Jiu Jitsu coach, um, and basically just his partner for the most part. Uh, and then come to find out, we're like sparring and stuff, and I'm doing everything with him, and then everybody's kind of saying like, hey, like you should give this a go. you know. And then my actually it was my wife, biggest one, who was like, when's your fight? When's your debut? Like always saying something like that. So I was finally like, all right, like let's give it a go. Yeah, and I'm no spring chicken. I got some injuries. Like, actually, right after college, I wrestled at West Virginia University. My wife played volleyball there. Is where we met. Um, right, I moved from West Virginia right down to Florida, and we lived in Boca Raton. Stayed in like this little trailer with huge cockroaches right by a canal with like iguanas and gators and stuff. But we were there for a few months, and I re-injured my knee. I was at a American Top Team. Moved on to American Top Team down there. I injured my knee in college, and then I re-injured it after a couple months there. And so no insurance or anything, and I was just kind of like, what am I gonna do? And we're like, we'll go live with your parents. So we came out here to California and live with her parents. This is where she's from, and got a job where I get my knee fixed, got it fixed, and then started trying to train again. This is probably after a year and a half, 2 years here, um, uh, something like that, and got it fixed. Started training again a little too soon, uh, like way too soon, I think actually. You got to give it like a year. I mean, I think it was like a month or something, and I was trying to spar and stuff, and I'm like just stupid about it, not being smart at all. Uh, and the level I was at then too, like I shouldn't even been sparring. I didn't know enough, I should have just been practicing everything. Still, not even. I'm in there trying to spar, and fresh scars, like messed it up again. Same knee, all the same stuff. Um, End up having like three surgeries on it, uh, the same knee, and basically stopped. Like I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like, and I kept messing it up myself. I kept going back too soon. Um, wish I didn't go back too soon. Wish I would have let it heal. But eventually got it fixed again, and then let it heal. Stayed off it, and I was selling phones. I was working at Verizon. Um, for like 5 or 6 years. Good benefits, pretty good pay, um, commission plus like a decent hourly, uh, but just not what I want to do at all. It was just like it was. And there's people that are great at it and love it, but I'm not a salesman. I'm not much less a phone salesman. Um, Internet, TV, all that stuff. It was when FiOS was there, so we sold the FiOS too. Um, but that was I wasn't liking life. It wasn't fun. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It had no real purpose. Felt like I just felt like I could be doing something way better. So I um, decided to start training. I got my personal training certificate, and uh, found a gym where I could be an independent contractor and grow my own business and do that. So that's what I started doing about 4 years ago, and that's where I met Jared uh, from the UFC, and then he got me basically back into everything and fully training every day, um, and then realizing that this is what I want to do. This. I mean, I'm still training people. I'm still personal trainer, but I know I can do this. I can pursue this as a living. I can do this for a living. I can be a professional fighter for a living. Um, I can take this, I think, as far as I want, and I'd like to see what I can do. I'm pretty excited that I took this route, regardless of my age. Uh,
Well, heavyweights, man. It's a different situation for heavyweights, though. I mean, if you were like a flyweight or a bantamweight, it's rough at 33. But heavyweights, for some reason, they can have a career into their mid 40s, and it
yeah,
doesn't seem like they slow
you
down.
you see it quite a bit, and it's pretty motivating. like you see somebody like Glover Teixeira going out there and just kicking ass, and he's pretty old. I mean that tells me I got a little more time. It's not a year or two. I got some time here. Uh,
And you got a great
I can,
base as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My base wrestling,
Yeah.
I think by far the best base for
Yeah.
MMA. You control where the fight.
Without a
Like if
doubt. Without a
I
doubt.
want to keep it standing, which I think I'm gonna do a little bit here
Mhm.
and show what I got.
Mhm.
Uh, if I keep it standing, I'm comfortable. But
Mhm.
if I decide I want to take it down to the ground, and I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it. I'm taking you down, and I'm beating you up on the ground. But if I decide I want to keep it standing, we can keep it standing. But that's definitely best base for sure.
Cage Warriors 149, San Diego. That's where you're fighting next, right? Did
Nope.
no?
My opponent pulled out.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah. So I signed the contract. Um, Ian, the guy I was talking to from Ian Dean from Cage Warriors, um, said Elijah Harris agreed to the fight and all this stuff. And come to find out, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago?
Mhm.
Uh, his camp pulled him out. Uh, he got a new opponent. Isn't that crazy?
For the same show?
The same show. Yeah,
That's
the
weird.
same show. It's crazy. I never heard of anything like that. But yeah, so oh
So
well.
what's Cage Warriors
Uh,
telling you?
Ian said that he's gonna look out for fights for me next time they're like in the States. So that's nice of him,
Mhm.
you know. But I don't understand, you know, that whole thing. uh, um, it was kind of shocking, you know. Uh, yeah, I know who he is. I know who his coaches are. I know Manolo. I know Richie. Those guys down there at 10th Planet San Diego.
Mhm.
Uh, so I was a little bummed when I found out it was his coaches that pulled him out
Mhm.
because I guess he agreed to the fight. Um, I signed the contract. I thought he signed the contract too.
Mhm.
Um, oh well, what can you do?
Seriously,
Uh,
yeah, that's the game, man. Like people are gonna pull out, and it
yeah,
happens more often.
yeah, and it's I got a couple young kids. I got a wife who works really hard. Uh, it's hard to take like a vacation or something, because I'm trying to get a fight. Uh, been trying. There's a CFFC March 31st in Philly. Ian Alston. Mark told me about the fight, uh, and then I messaged my manager Jason, and he said, "Looks like they're turning us down." So I'm like, so here we go again. So, uh, and I messaged LFA, um, and a guy actually got back to me pretty quick about a fights. They got a couple fights in April. So if I could tie something down, then I know LFA is a really good organization. I know it's a great kind of development program for the UFC, like a feeder program almost. So if I could get on that kind of stage and show my improvements and show my whole game, I'd be really excited. I mean, I was excited for, but LFA, I see how many people go from LFA to the UFC. It's like they're just like filtering them through right to the UFC. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Oh, so
I want to,
your end goal is to be fighting in the UFC heavyweight division.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. My goal is to be a heavyweight champ.
Mhm.
My goal is to be a UFC heavyweight champ. That's my goal. I'm not in this to like do okay.
Mhm.
You know, I'm in this like to go all the way.
You want to be
You
the
know,
baddest man on the planet, basically.
I'm the baddest man on the planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
yeah. Shit. Um, man, I appreciate the time, man, and yeah, we'll get back on here once you get something solidified.
definitely.
It sucks that your opponent pulled out, dude. Like that's the worst because you invest so much time and energy into
The
getting
biggest
ready.
thing definitely. The biggest thing with it too was like I was texting him, asking him for my because they kept posting the little posters,
Mm-hmm.
the like the fight posters
Mm-hmm.
like for each bout. So I'm like asking him, I'm like, hey, can I get like the Elijah Harris versus Brandon Williamson like fight poster with the link to the tickets so I can like promote my fight? And then he met like the whole day goes by and he messages me back like, oh, you haven't heard? And it tells and I'm like, no, like that's a bummer.
You haven't heard
Yeah.
that I got pulled out from it's that is so weird. That's a weird conversation to have with
So
somebody.
then, so then the weirdest thing too, it's even weirder. My buddy Lou. So like, what's the thing with being like heavyweight is finding partners is like pretty tough. So like all the better guys like in the area, you pretty much hit each other up for sparring and for training and stuff. So Lou Schwenke, uh, he trains in Gardena at California MMA with Josh Barnett. But he
Oh yeah.
lives in Corona. Temecula is not too far for him to come. Uh, been training with him. Has been getting some rounds with him.
Mm.
Really good dude. And he was supposed to fight this guy Larry Gonzalez at Fury, and then the show got canceled or something. And now Larry Gonzalez is fighting Elijah Harris, who I was supposed to fight at Cage Warriors March 3rd. It's like it's kind of funny, you know.
It is, man. I get, I'm glad that you kind of take it in that way, instead of just
Yeah,
being like really like fuck these guys, you know what I mean? Like you just like
yeah.
lighthearted, you know?
I don't want to have any animosity
Yeah.
towards anyone. I understand, he didn't want to fight. Like that's on him.
There's
Uh,
confidence you could gain from that, right?
it does give me some confidence
Mhm.
knowing people are a little scared, you know, scared I'm gonna mess them up.
Yeah.